Welcome to this special edition of Hannity, The Road to 2020. I'm Jason Chaffetz, in tonight for Sean. With just 95 days until the election, Democrats are turning every issue into a political lightning rod. Many on the left are even accusing President Trump of being personally responsible for the spread of COVID-19. Just today, Congressman James Clyburn floated a conspiracy theory that Trump didn't have a plan to battle the virus because it was spreading in blue states. But at today's coronavirus response hearing on Capitol Hill, Dr. Fauci painted a much different picture. He actually credited the president with saving lives. Take a look.
Were you involved in working with President Trump on deciding to ban flights from China?
Yes, sir, I was.
Do you agree with that decision?
I do.
Do you think that decision saved lives, Dr. Fauci?
Yes, I do.
Do you agree with the decision when ultimately we saw spread in Europe, and then the president recommended that we extend that to Europe? Did you participate in that discussion?
I was actively involved in that discussion, sir.
Do you agree with that decision?
Yes, I do.
Do you think that decision saved lives?
Yes, I do.
Eventually, then we saw the United Kingdom have an outbreak, and there had to be a tough decision made. Do we extend that to the United Kingdom? Were you part of that decision?
I was.
And do you agree with that decision as well?
I do.
Did that decision save lives?
Yes, it did.
When you look at the 15 days to slow the spread, initially it started at 15. Were you part of the decision to implement that decision?
I was very much involved in that.
Did that decision save lives, Dr. Fauci?
I believe it did.
Then when President Trump met with you and Dr. Birx to extend that another 30 days, do you agree with that decision that President Trump made to extend that?
Yes, I was very much involved and I agree with it.
Did that decision save lives, Dr. Fauci?
I believe it did.
Congressman Scalise will join us in a moment. His colleague, Congressman Jim Jordan, grilled Fauci on whether or not the nationwide protests are causing the virus to spread. Oddly enough, Fauci tried to dodge the question in this tense exchange. Watch this.
Do protests increase the spread of the virus?
Do protests increase the spread of the virus? I think I can make a general statement.
Well, 500,000 protesters on June 6th alone.
Yeah.
I'm just asking that number of people, does it increase the spread of the virus?
Crowding together, particularly when you're not wearing a mask, contributes to the spread of the virus.
Should we limit the protesting?
I'm not sure what you mean. How do we say limit the protesting?
Should government limit the protesting?
I don't think that's relevant to.
For 63 days, 9 weeks, it's been happening in Portland.
Right. Yeah.
Well, one night in Chicago, 49 officers were injured, but no limit to protest. But boy, you can't go to church on Sunday.
What was this?
I don't know how many times I can answer that. I'm not going to opine on limiting anything. I'm just going to tell you.
You've opined on a lot of things, Dr. Fauci.
Yeah, but I've never.
This is something that directly impacts the spread of the virus, and I'm asking your position on the protest.
Yeah, Jim Jordan's right on that one. So Fauci will comment on baseball, football, schools, going to bars, cruise ships, but he won't directly address the massive nationwide protests that are still ongoing. And don't forget, Democrats closed businesses, churches, beaches, bars, restaurants, and restricted who you can have in your home and whether or not you can even sing in church. Joining us now with reaction is House Minority